feel the turbo for play.
But then is it just coming out of the breather here?
Yeah, it's just breathing heavy in it.
Hey guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. You join me today actually on the commute very early this morning in the Golf R. First time I've driven this this year actually, and it's very apparent that I don't daily drive this on a day like today. -1 outside at the moment. We've got Cup 2 semi-slick tyres and everything in here, being metal, is freezing. It's like I'm sat in a tin can. Even with the heater blowing, it's still freezing. So yes, that is not fun. Basically the plan for today, taking the car into Regal. So Regal look after this car maintenance wise. They've done a few little bits on it as well, like the short shifter. Actually going to be the first time that they see this with the interior build all done. And basically the plan is to take the car into them for them to do like a pre-track season maintenance overhaul. There's a couple of bits which need doing, servicing work, and a couple of other little bits as well. So yeah, I'm on my way there at the moment, stuck in typical rush hour traffic, for them to basically get this car all ready for a very, very busy track season ahead. Now, providing the traffic doesn't get any worse, we are just a couple of minutes away, and then we'll meet up with the guys, maybe show Ash the car because he hasn't seen it in a while, and then yeah, we're leaving the car with them for them to do their magic. Here we are then with the car parked up outside Regal. Of course, these are the guys who look after all the servicing and maintenance on this car. I've also done a fair few modifications on it up until now as well. I am going to be leaving the car here, and Ash from Regal is very kindly going to be taking over the video to basically document everything for me, mainly servicing and maintenance work, but also a few upgrades as well. But yeah, I will see this in a few days, and I guess the car will now go into the workshop. Ash will take over, and then the work will begin.
Hi guys, I'm Ash from Regal, and Luke has asked me to cover some of the bits we're doing on his Golf R, and whilst we're doing sort of the service work, and also we're upgrading a part of the car as well. Obviously Luke's doing a lot of track days and things like that, so we're just going to get the car ready for this season. So he's asked us to do a few different things. I'm going to do a big service on the car, so obviously you're going to do the engine oil and the oil filter, and we're actually still waiting for the racing line replacement filter to arrive, so obviously we'll show you that when it gets here. At the same time, Luke's asked us to freshen up the front and rear axle oils. So obviously you've got the rear axle in the back, you've got the front axle in the front, which is like the transfer case, and then also the Haldex oil as well. So we're going to clean the gauze, because obviously you have to reuse the gauze and usually it blocks up, so we'll replace the oil and give it a good clean. Replace the spark plugs. The spark plugs again haven't quite arrived with us, but we'll show you when they arrive. And he's installing some APR coil packs, so obviously that'll look a little bit better and perform a little bit better as well. And then whilst we're here, we're installing the Vektor Technik gauge. Now, if it's something you haven't seen before, we've done a couple of videos on our page as well, but essentially it is a display which replaces one of the vents, so the left-hand side of the driver's side vent. And within this display, it's a real high-quality display, and you can see all kinds of different parameters from the car. So you can see all your oil temps, the true water temperature, you can log the vehicle, you can have a look at any fault codes, and you can also measure like 0 to 60, 100 to 200 km/h times, all that kind of important stuff. So yeah, going to get that installed in the car and show Luke obviously how to use it, and hopefully make some use out of it on the track. Okay, so we've been going through some of the service work as you've seen, and Luke, when he dropped off the car, was mentioning that he had a bit of deposit of oil after he left the car for a little while. So asked us to sort of like have a look and sort of like suss it out, and obviously as going through the service we could see that there was some oil underneath the car, but not from some of the more obvious areas like gearbox or engine, anything like that. When we removed the intake to have a look at the air filter condition, we noticed that the air filter was absolutely saturated in engine oil. Also, the carbon fiber intake as well was full of oil as well. And where there's a drain on the intake, basically all the oil was sitting in the intake and then dropping down onto the gearbox and working its way down to the floor. and it looks like the oil has been coming from the turbocharger, but the turbocharger at this stage looks like it's in working order. Luke doesn't really report any fault codes, no sort of like running issues, so performance looks all good. So we're just going to continue working through it. We're going to add on a compression test onto the job just to see if obviously the engine's okay as well. This looks like a lot of oil is going back into the air filter and into the airbox as well. So going to have a little bit of a deeper look and see what we might be able to find.
Okay, back to real time. We're back here at Regal. Car is all done outside, parked next to a very nice E92 M3. But of course, we're joined again with Ash. You've been the face of the video for most of this, really, because you've very kindly kind of taken on board, well, all the footage for me, basically, of everything going on. There was a little bit of a speed bump that we encountered. Yeah, it was quite scary actually, because obviously I told you guys, as well as all the maintenance, to diagnose this oil leak which I've been having. It turned out to be coming from the turbo.
Yeah, well, kind of the turbo, kind of not. So yeah, obviously the thing that you said was there was a little bit of oil underneath the car, so it was like, oh, where is it from? How much is it? Blah 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 blah. And you kind of said there wasn't really that much oil, and it was like inconsistent. So once we had the air filter off, you can see the air filter was completely saturated with oil, so that was a bit of a clue there. But otherwise, like the turbocharger looked like it was in good condition, like no leaks from like the oil lines, no leaks from the core, and then internally as well, it all looks pretty sound as well. So one thing that you have on these cars is the breather system. What happens is under heavy braking, the oil can pull around the breather, and then what happens is the turbocharger literally just sucks the oil through the breather system, and that can obviously go through the intake or through the engine as well. So what we think is happening on this car, because we did a compression test on the car as well, just to make sure the compression was all good, which it is across all cylinders. Usually if the compression is down, that would signify there's probably an internal issue with the engine, which happily there's nothing.
Thankfully, so that's good.
That's kind of like a common thing that you see on these cars. And like we said, you can install some slightly different like PCV systems with a baffle in there, like inspired from the TCR cars, and that basically solves that. So if you've ever seen like Golf R, S3, Cupra, or any of that stuff on a track day with loads of like a massive plume of smoke under heavy braking, that's because it's being sucked through the intake. So that's sort of like an easy fix on this car. And the other thing, just like any old sort of like, or any car with like multi-link suspension at the back, we have the camber adjustment due to obviously age, using this car in all kinds of conditions, all the salt, all that kind of stuff. Some of the camber adjustment bolts were seized, so you couldn't adjust the camber on this visit. The camber was pretty much in spec anyway, so what you want to see. One side wasn't particularly out of spec to the other, so that's all kind of good there. So I think you're talking about doing some upgrades in the future, so probably in the future you'll look to solve that and then change the camber a little bit more. For sure. But yeah, otherwise it's in pretty good condition. For 92,000 miles, it's not too bad. It's given a hard life, but yeah, you've got to look after it, got to maintain it, and of course that's where you guys come in with this car. So yeah, thank you for looking after it, thank you for doing all the bits, and thank you for filming as well. Always a pleasure.
I'm sure we'll see each other very soon. Of course, the Mark 8 Golf R of yours as well, going well in development. So maybe
got that. So we've done ECU software on that, the handling, going to go for like some wheels, some suspension, like take it up to the next level for this year. Mark 7 versus Mark 8 on track. That sounds fun. Let's do it.
But yeah, thank you again, buddy. And anyway, let's get this thing fired up and onwards to the next adventure. Okay, there we go. The car is now all ready to be enjoyed for this track season. There is a lot planned. In fact, at the time of me filming this, I actually have a track day tomorrow. So there's plenty of content coming real soon. As always, a massive thank you to the guys at Regal. Really looking forward to trying out all the different bits we've got on it. Of course, now with the Vektor Technik gauge as well. But yeah, all in all, I think we escaped something pretty catastrophic with this car, all in all, from what I understand anyway. But anyway, that is it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. As I said, stay tuned, plenty of track content coming with this very soon and throughout this year. But for me today, that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like and make sure to subscribe for all the adventures still to come.